There is a cow, she's white and black, here in my abode, right here in my flat. There is a whimsy deep within, a bovine curious, she is not slim. In her fancy, in her delight, she sits idly, she sleeps through the night. Is she large, or is she small? Sitting with me, her bovine cool. She sees my music, she hears it loud. The black and white, C major, shrouds. The chords I strike, those solemn keys. She is a cow, it's grass she needs. Well, she sits in pause as she doth think, cow so lonely, on the brink. These notes they hit like bricks, a resonance strong, a melody thick. She does not stop on this bright day. Bertha large, white, black, and grey. Bertha on this merry day did sit and ponder, sat and prayed. She sat in wonder. Bertha was a curious cow. This is why she wanted to find out how the piano made the sounds that it did. It was an awfully wrong sound, at least in her ears, but she did not mind. It was a friend, at the very least. She approached the piano for a second time that day and decided to venture further into her deep-seated curiosities and find out exactly what powered it. It did not make noise. Well, it was silent. It was far too quiet, at least in her humble opinion. Now, whilst cows did not always have opinions, they did have morals. It would not stand. She had to know where the sound emanated from. Well, there was a cable. There was a long cord. Well, this was strange, at least in Bertha's narrow mind. And she did not like this. So, she did what any self-respecting cow would do. And this was non-negotiable, at least in her opinion. Well, she took the cord, and she stuck it in her mouth. Buzz, buzz, she heard herself say, or her mouth at least. Buzz, buzz. This did not bode well. She took it out and she was relieved as the sound stopped. Her jaw went back to normal and she could masticate again. She didn't stop to wonder why there was a bizarre buzzing sound, but the pause it had created was refreshing. And she was far too competitive recently, and this was not an issue, or not usually, but it had distracted her from producing milk. So she went back to producing salad leaves and milk and chewing, and she left the piano all by itself. And there was no lesson to be learned. Simply that putting cables in your mouth is a terrible idea. That is, unless you want a brief pause from your day. Lesson learned: do not put power cables in your mouth. This is Bertha's wisdom.